Hey, this is your first time. I am Kyle.
And I'm Michelle, and we're the Wandering Shores.
Welcome. We're excited that you're here to watch this episode. Michelle, where are we at?
We're at the Sawtooth National Recreation Area today.
Near what city?
Oh, we are in
Stanley, Idaho.
Stanley, Idaho.
Stanley, Idaho. Anything else that you're gonna forget? What trailer are we doing today, Michelle? I give up. I absolutely give up. Fishhook Creek Trail. It's an out and back. It's about 2.2 miles one way. There's only about 200 feet of elevation. So out at the end, we're going to come across a meadow and you're gonna see these amazing mountains. So those are the Sawtooth Mountains here in Idaho. Welcome. So our first adventure here in the Stanley, Idaho area is going to be at Redfish Trailhead. We are doing, what trail, Michelle? She has no idea, I
I
promise.
have no idea. The Redfish Trail?
No, Fishhook Creek Trail.
He looked it up, not me.
It's 2.2 miles out and another 2.2 back. So
It's gonna be pretty.
not a whole lot of elevation change, like maybe 250 feet. So it's gonna be fairly flat. Here we go.
So we just got here to Stanley, Idaho yesterday, and we're out today on our first hike adventure. And we're gonna be in this area for about a week, and we're gonna try and do as many outdoorsy things as possible. This is like the perfect fall day. It's warm, but not too warm. You can see signs of fall. So I'm super excited to be in this area because people have told me, a handful of people have told me that Idaho is beautiful, and they weren't lying.
Complete silence out here. It's pretty cool. There's been quite a few people on the trail hiking back towards the trailhead, but it's still like you almost have the place to yourself. So we made it to the beginning of the marshy area. Let me show you. As you can probably hear, dogs are allowed on the trail. So this is actually a transition point from the Sawtooth National Recreation Area to the Sawtooth Wilderness Area. So we had to fill out another permit and have a permit on our backpack when we're hiking through here. Just basically saying that we acknowledge that, you know, we're out here and you know, whatever the other regulations say on the back that I should have probably read before I signed it. But we've filled these out before when we were out at Mount Hood, and had the question about what stock was because we didn't know at the time, and apparently we've come to find out that it's mules and horses and things like that. So all right, we made it out to the end of the trail, at least where All Trails says is the end of the trail, and we are headed back, but we're not done for the day. We're going to take you along with us on a couple other adventures we've got planned, some exciting, some not as exciting, but I think still of interest to anybody who might be headed in this area. So I'll have my phone, I'll have the GoPro out for the hike back, but I may not film a whole lot heading back since it's the same as it was coming here, but if I see anything, I'll pull out the camera. Wanted to offer a little quick update. We had our first, just by chance, run-in with one of our favorite YouTube channels. We're going to tell you more about that once we get settled. Michelle's violating the first rule of hiking, going off trail.
He told me to.
What do you think the odds are I'm responsible for that? I highly doubt it. As you probably saw if you watched our last video, recently Michelle has gotten herself a new pair of kicks, new hiking boots, and we figured we'd let her tell you how she's liking it.
It's time for a hiking boot review, folks. So I got me a new pair at REI, and I got the REI brand. They're like Merrells, and I'll show you them here in a second. They've done really well on this trail. Now, as many of you know, I'm a creature of habit, and my last excuse me, my last hiking boots I absolutely adored. Well, these are proving to be just as good of a pair of hiking boots. They handled really well on the trail. The only thing that I would change about them would be the shoelaces. And if you know, you know. They have round shoelaces, and I'll show you. Round shoelaces are harder to tie, as opposed to the flat, wide shoelaces. So that's the only thing I would change. I used to teach a shoe tying class on Out School, and one of the very first things I would tell my students is to use a pair of shoes that don't have the round shoelaces. And so a lot of times they'd have to tell their parents to either find another pair of shoes with flat laces or to buy a pair of shoelaces. So that is my hiking boot review.
Cliff's notes. She likes them, but she also likes shoelaces that are meant for 4-year-olds. Over and out. To our next adventure. We are going for a paddle out on Little Redfish Lake. We saw a YouTube episode probably about a year ago from Finding Our Someday, and they went out on an amazing paddle out here on this lake. So I've put it on my map, my camping map and adventure map, many years, about a year ago at least. And today we're here. So it doesn't look like anybody else is actually out on the lake, and it's a little windy, so it's a little choppy, but it shouldn't be too bad. We've been in worse, as recently as Bowman Lake, which you guys probably saw in the last video. So let me turn it around and show you Little Redfish Lake. There's campgrounds down there at that end. I'm gonna set down the boat here for a second. There's campgrounds down there at that end, National Forest campground. So we'll be paddling down there and kind of show you what we can see from the water. Made it out on the water. I forgot to put my waterproof case around the GoPro, so I don't want to dip it down in the water, but I wanted to kind of show you how clear this water is. There's Michelle.
Hey!
So we're at the opposite end of where the campgrounds are, but you can still see down through the, I mean, you see the bottom. It's beautiful. It's probably, I'm guessing, 4 or 5 feet deep here. This is the time when I wish we had a not a GoPro, a drone. Yeah, I'm talking about a drone. To be able to fly over and see kind of exactly where we're at here on the lake. I know when we were watching the video from Finding Our Someday, they were flying over top, and there were schools of fish that were swimming directly underneath their kayaks. So it was pretty amazing. So, but yeah, so we're gonna paddle around here a little. We'll turn the camera on every once in a while, and don't forget, the end of the video, we're going to tell you who we ran into on the trail. So there's a couple tributaries or creeks that run into the lake that we've seen people paddle on, but it looks like with the level of the water, those are way too shallow for us to actually paddle back down without our rudder dragging the bottom. So one of the things that's interesting so far is that usually we like to paddle right along the shore so that we can kind of look for animals or turtles or bears or whatever might be there. But we can't get probably within 10 or 15 feet of the shoreline because it's so shallow in those areas, and then it drops off to 3 or 4 feet deep. But yeah, so we're having to paddle a little bit further out than we're normally doing, but it's still, it beats any day in the office. All right, we made it off the lake safe and sound. Nice short paddle. It only ended up being about 1.1 miles of paddling, but that lake's really pretty shallow. I was quite surprised. So one of the things we're doing is we're going to go ahead and deflate the boat so that when we get back, we can just take it back out. We're not going to put it all away in the bag and everything. We'll just deflate it, and then once we get back to the campsite, we will reinflate it and let it dry for the evening and most of tomorrow, and make sure it's really dry before we put it back in the bag for transport. So don't leave just yet. We got one more thing that we're doing before we leave here. We made it to our last stop on the adventures today. Where are we at, Michelle?
We are at a shower house. We're going to take a shower. It is, you don't get very long in there, but it's $2 for 5 minutes. So that's doable. So yeah, we're pretty excited.
They also have a laundry here.
Yeah, there's a laundromat here too, which I will be coming back because it's just like 2 minutes down the road from where we're camped at. Yeah, so I'm super excited because I've checked, I went in and looked at the showers, and there's so much more room in there than what we have in our camper. We could easily shower in our camper, but this is going to allow us to save some water since we're here for a week. And so yeah, we're going to get cleaned up because there aren't, another reason why this is so, I guess, exciting for us is because we typically don't run into these areas. It's like a comfort station. And so whenever we do encounter them, we definitely use them.
We're all showered up.
We are.
It was nice.
Clean.
Yeah, 5 minutes went by really fast. So I could have put $2 more in and got another 5 minutes, but I was pretty much done.
Yeah.
So I got a little clean shave in here, trimmed up the old goatee and shaved. So hopefully I'm looking a little more presentable to you guys. So yeah, this is our campsite. So we are here on the Salmon River right outside of Stanley, Idaho, and we're going to be doing some campsite reviews. So if they haven't already come out, you're going to be seeing them here pretty soon. So, and finally, for those of you who stuck around, what favorite YouTubers did we find or run into on the trail today?
We ran into the Adventures of A and K.
The Adventures of Adam and Catherine, A+K. So if you guys watch them on YouTube, they're a super popular van lifer couple who are obviously just recently in their videos up in Alaska. Clearly they're in Idaho right now, but we won't tell their secrets. So, but yeah, so they were super nice. They were actually here with Catherine's family, or her mom and dad, and they were doing some hiking, so we didn't really film anything. We didn't want to be one of those other YouTubers. So, but yeah, that's the first time we've actually, without pre-planning, to meet somebody that we know from Instagram or YouTube. Well, we didn't really know them, and we just been watching them for years.
Yeah, Kyle recognized them right away, and then as soon as Catherine started talking, I knew immediately that she was a YouTuber because I recognized her voice. Yeah, so it was pretty cool. And their dog Kona was with them too. So hi guys, if you happen to be watching, thanks for taking the time to talk to us. And yeah, so we're gonna be closing out this video. Hope you guys enjoyed today's adventures. We got a few more to come here from Stanley, Idaho. Over and out. See ya.